This year's class of 5 under 35 has been selected. Out of around 50 nominations, we've narrowed it down to this year's final 5 honorees. We want to say thank you to everyone who took time to fill out a nomination form. We appreciate your time and thoughtfulness to participate in the program and to nominate a deserving young adult. We're in the process right now of notifying this year's winners. Join us the last week of February as I introduce you to this year's winners. You'll hear their stories and also their thoughts on what Great Falls has going for it and their ideas for how the community can improve. Out of around 50 nominations this year, we selected our final 5. Not an easy task. We kick off the program with the youngest honoree that we've ever had. Although he's just a freshman, he's making a big impact in Great Falls and beyond. At just 14 years old,
turned into something big, so.
Luke Swenson has already touched the lives of thousands of kids and spoken in front of crowds across the country.
Mainly to give every child the hope to dream big. So we'll go and speak about bullying, teen suicide.
Inspired by a song, Luke created and runs the I Love This Life Foundation.
It's a lot of traveling.
He doesn't skirt around tough topics in his presentations to elementary school kids, speaking about mental health, living with divorced parents, and even sharing about a time he was bullied.
Tell kids really that if you're being bullied for things like that, know it's what you're doing and don't let those kids control you over that.
He's also created journals to help kids communicate with their parents.
What we do is every day, it's how you made a difference this week. You can rate your week. There's an inspirational quote on every page. How you could have made your week better and who and what inspired you.
It's all part of Luke's attitude of hope, making a difference in Great Falls and beyond.
Kids coming up knowing that I've made an impact in at least someone, and that was our first motto. If you can change one kid's life, you've done your job.
Luke Swenson, one of KRTV's 5 under 35. As part of the 5 under 35 program, I ask each honoree 2 questions meant to spur thought in our community. Those 2 questions: what does Great Falls have going for it, and how can Great Falls improve, specifically when it comes to the young adult population? Luke says he's had great and supportive teachers and counselors growing up in Great Falls, but as far as how Great Falls can improve, he's focused on better technology in the classroom.
Getting technology to a point of where those kids can really compete with all the other states to move into colleges.
Now, Luke will be speaking to students in New York coming up in April. You can find out more about the I Love This Life Foundation on our website. Coming up next, meet a woman who's making a big difference. Nominated by 4 people, she's described as an amazing asset and someone who will continue to be a big part of building and caring for the Great Falls community. We'll see you back here tomorrow to meet our second honoree of 2020. We're continuing our 7th year of 5 under 35. I created this initiative to recognize young adults whose attitudes and actions are making Great Falls an even better place to live. Yesterday, you met our youngest recipient ever, Luke Swenson. Tonight, I introduce you to our second honoree. Nominated by 4 people, she's described as an amazing asset and someone who will continue to be a big part of building and caring for the Great Falls community. Jamie Wald walks by a picture of her cousin Tyson every day at work.
To know that what I'm doing is in his memory, I just feel honored.
Her passion for helping others and being involved with nonprofits stems from him.
I have a cousin who, when I was younger, he did pass away of cancer. And I was only in 3rd grade when that happened, but it has been something that has stuck with me.
After his passing in the mid-90s, money was donated in Tyson's honor to help other kids and their families battling illnesses.
This is kind of where it came full circle for me.
Jamie's now the Senior Director of Development for the Benefis Foundation, a not-for-profit organization that raises money to help patients who might not be able to pay their bills, and for buildings and technology. The 31-year-old has been in her current role since 2018. Jamie was born and raised in Great Falls, graduating from Great Falls High in 2006. She went to MSU and lived in Bozeman for 10 years, working for Special Olympics Montana there and here in Great Falls. Since moving back in 2017, she's poured herself into causes she believes in, like Make-A-Wish Montana.
It's exactly my calling.
As many who nominated her pointed out, Jamie has a strong commitment to help others and to build the community.
I think we're at a good place here. I think that we have a good community, and I think that we're really on our way to just exploding.
Jamie Wald, one of KRTV's 5 under 35. As part of the 5 Under 35 program, I ask each honoree 2 questions that are meant to spur conversation and thought in our community. Those 2 questions: what does Great Falls have going for it, and how can Great Falls improve, specifically when it comes to the young adult population? Jamie says she's encouraged by the young adults who have chosen to stay or come back to Great Falls to make it their home.
These organizations that I've gotten involved with and the people I have worked with and seen the passion that they have to grow this community is outstanding. And I think that everywhere you turn, there's a new nonprofit and a new group of people working towards improving Great Falls.
Jamie says she thinks Great Falls can improve by young professionals learning and understanding how their dollars and volunteer hours can impact and grow the community. 5 Under 35 continues tonight with our 3rd honoree. It's the 7th year of the program, and this year we picked the final 5 from around 50 nominations. So far, you've met 14-year-old Luke Swenson and 31-year-old Jamie Wald. Tonight, I introduce you to a man described as someone with unmatched character and an inspiring heart for others by those who nominated him.
For me, I had the choice and I chose Great Falls, and I'm so glad I did.
Nuclear Missile Operations Launch Officer Lieutenant Joshua Deagle picked Malmstrom as his top choice when he joined the Air Force. And ever since arriving in Great Falls about a year and a half ago, he's served others in his squadron and in his community.
I like to think that I approach a lot of my life, whether it's at work or just the way that I carry myself. I like to approach other people with the mentality of servant leadership. So for me, that means, in what ways can I remove barriers to your success?
The 26-year-old Wisconsin native didn't always have his sights set on the military. In fact, he went to school for hotel management and business administration.
So initially, the Air Force for me was going to be like just a 4-year sort of check the box and serve my country and then move back to hospitality.
But he loves his work and says he gets excited to provide strategic deterrence for the United States.
There is a negative stereotype that goes along with missiles, but I really enjoy combating that.
When he's not on alert for work, he's volunteering with Habitat for Humanity. It's something he's done for years and gets him out of his comfort zone while also giving back to Great Falls.
I just think it's a really cool opportunity to give back to a community that I feel gives the base so much.
Joshua Deagle, one of KRTV's 5 Under 35. Now, as part of the 5 Under 35 initiative, I ask each honoree 2 questions that are meant to spur thought and conversation in our community. So those 2 questions: what does Great Falls have going for it, and how can Great Falls improve? Deagle loves the location of Great Falls and that it's easy to travel across the state to ski, camp, and hike. He says he's also excited about the growth that he's seen downtown in just the year and a half that he's been here.
I think that the downtown area has so much potential for growth, and it's being acted upon in ways that I think me and my peers are recognizing and my friends are taking advantage of. So that I really like about Great Falls.
Deagle says the challenge then is to get people his age to recognize that growth and the strengths of downtown. He says downtown can improve by providing more outdoor space and events. Our 4th honoree of 2020 has made Great Falls his home after a move from Florida. He's described as someone who finds an endless supply of fun and interesting things here in Great Falls and encourages others to join him in supporting those things. Meet this positive and active member of our community when 5 Under 35 continues tomorrow. During this 7th year of the 5 Under 35 initiative, we had the difficult task of choosing the final 5 out of around 50 nominations from you, the community. So far, you've met Luke Swenson, Jamie Wald, and Joshua Deagle. The person who nominated our 4th honoree says he may be a transplant, but he truly represents Montana's values. Matthew Hunter spends most of his days creating and designing.
Just doing the woodworking is the funnest part.
He joined the Goodwood Guys when he moved to Great Falls from Florida 2 years ago.
So I kind of knocked at their door here until they let me in.
It's a big change from his job running an urban agriculture program outside of Orlando. He's embraced that change in career, climate, and community.
Great Falls really kind of showed itself as something special to me.
Hunter believes the best way to get connected in a new place is to get involved, and that's exactly what he's done.
I think getting engaged in something that matters to you is the important thing, and then from that you will meet people.
The 35-year-old spends his evenings and weekends at book clubs, participates in community sports, adventures outside with the Montana Wilderness Association, and attends Great Falls City 101 classes.
Great Falls might not have as many things going on as a bigger city, but I find that the things that it does have going on have more depth than a lot of the stuff that I found in, Orlando and things.
Matthew Hunter, one of KRTV's 5 Under 35. As we've talked about in prior stories, I ask each honoree what they think Great Falls has going for it and how Great Falls can improve. Hunter says you might have to dig a little bit, but there are great people here doing great things.
A lot of the things that people are doing aren't as attended as they could be. So I would say if more people showed up, then that would be improvement.
He adds that he would also love to see more healthy restaurant options in Great Falls. If you're interested in learning more about the Goodwood guys, you can head to krtv.com. We wrap up 5 Under 35 tomorrow night with our final honoree. She's described as someone who embodies the best aspects of the Great Falls community in her work, public involvement, volunteer work, and personal commitment. Don't miss our 5th recipient tomorrow night. Welcome back. We're wrapping up 5 Under 35. I created this initiative to recognize young adults whose attitudes and actions are making Great Falls an even better place to live. Out of around 50 nominations from you, the community, this year, we narrowed it down to the final 5. So far, you've met Luke Swenson, Jamie Wald, Joshua Deagle, and Matthew Hunter. The person who nominated our 5th and final honoree says her dedication makes the Great Falls community stronger, more resilient, and a better place for everyone. Advocate, helper, provider. 34-year-old Rachel Arthur is a care coordinator at Indian Family Health Clinic.
Make sure that they have the proper housing, insurance, food, clothing, that they're getting to their doctor's appointments.
The 34-year-old Great Falls native has been in her current role for around a year. She advocates for patients who may not have a voice to ensure they get the care they need and connect them to resources.
I love working in the community, and I love helping people that maybe not as fortunate as others, and letting them know that there are people out there to help them and get what they may need if they want it.
The person who nominated Arthur says caring is the simple word that best describes her. She's encouraging and gives from her own pocket, recently helping someone who became homeless in sub-zero temperatures.
Felt bad for this gentleman because he rides his bike all over town. He didn't have a face mask, he didn't have a hat, he didn't have gloves.
Arthur hopes to lead by example, showing respect to everyone.
If you look at someone and you're automatically judging, you're not going to be able to communicate with the person. And if you can't communicate with the person, you're not going to be able to help them. If you're holding judgment against someone, there is no way that you're going to be able to help this individual in their most vulnerable state.
Rachel Arthur, one of KRTV's 5 Under 35. Arthur is also working to introduce a new training model about the impact of trauma and poverty. She says her big focus is educating people about poverty and resiliency in our community. She believes community leaders should look at what types of businesses are coming to Great Falls and how that plays into our economy and what kind of jobs are available.
Other companies want to come to Great Falls. Well, are they going to benefit us or are they not going to benefit us? Are they going to bring in more low-income paying jobs, or are they going to bring in the margin, of maybe better paying?
We wrap up the 5 Under 35 initiative each year with a luncheon for this year's honorees, as well as past 5 Under 35 winners. It's a chance for them to network. I also put together an extended video with more of their thoughts on Great Falls. We'll be sure to post that to our website after the luncheon next week.
Well, we wrapped up this year's 5 Under 35 initiative with a special luncheon today. MTN's Shannon Newth created 5 Under 35 7 years ago as a way to recognize young adults whose attitudes and actions make Great Falls a better place to live. Out of around 50 nominations this year, we selected the final 5. They are Luke Swenson, Jamie Wald, Joshua Deagle, Matthew Hunter, and Rachel Arthur. They represent different sectors of our community and range in age from 14 to 35. 5 Under 35 wraps up every year with a chance for new and prior honorees to meet and network. Shannon also puts together an extended video with parts of interviews that didn't make it into the stories that aired at the end of February. And you can watch that right now at krtv.com. Thank you again to everyone who took time to nominate someone this year, and congratulations to this year's class.